3 points all. Second set tiebreak. Agassi leads 1-0. Becker's had a set point.
I think Agassi's scampering a bit better. He's 4 inches shorter, doesn't carry nearly as much weight. Becker just sort of showing his little bit of tiredness there.
First time Agassi's been in front in this tiebreak. Becker, don't forget, was 2-love.
And should have been 3-1, and now he's 3-4. Agassi proceeding with this tight, efficient little game of his. Hard hitting. Few errors.
I think he was flummoxed there, Becker, as he came in. Wasn't quite sure what to do. The return dipping around his toes. But I agree with you, that awful miss, really, looking back on it, should have been 3-1 in the tiebreak to Becker. (3-5).
Yes, well, after that miss, he lost 4 points in a row, Becker. And so it did have a little effect, perhaps a big effect, on his mind, on his resolve. He looked tired for a few points. He's nearly back on serve, 1 break point down.
But I say awful, he missed by a fraction of an inch. But down on the scoreboard, on the scorecard, it says 6-4. Trying to make too perfect a shot, that's what it was.
Yes. What can you say? Gosh, you feel for him, don't you? He's missed by half an inch all through the match, actually, all over the place.
And Becker, who's twice been the champion here, 87 and 88, and has lost only twice at Indian Wells, faces match point, 2 match points to Agassi. Agassi, with 2 titles already in his pocket, has still lost only once this year.
Well, I found that a very interesting match indeed, because Agassi was his usual efficient self. Perhaps he has played better, but I think he was up against a man in Boris Becker who really played very well indeed and served quite magnificently.
And then coming up shortly after that, our Harvard Challenge, so please stay with us.
Well, Andre Agassi has now won the last 8 meetings against Boris Becker, but none of those 8 can have been much more difficult than that. That was a tough match, fairly brutal, Chris Bailey, for both players. I guess just misses from Becker in the tiebreak were the difference.
I think it's a classic case of a very, very tight match, but really 3 points making a difference. The first point, tight first set, Becker was 40-15 up on his serve, left the ball that was a questionable, and then Agassi broke and then held for the set.
Well, how is Becker supposed to deal with Agassi? I mean, we identified the problems beforehand and we saw what was happening. If Becker stays back, he gets out hit from the baseline. If he comes in on big points, he's likely to get past when Agassi gets fired up. So how do you approach it? I guess Becker tried the short angles.
He was. I think we definitely saw a game plan today from Becker of the short angles and trying to bring Agassi in, because he is not particularly big in stature, so that he's obviously the lob would be a good shot, and also he doesn't volley particularly well, although having said that, he's still a great player.
If Becker can play in his first outdoor tournament, Agassi that close, Agassi would consider the Indian Wells court to be his favourite, surely. It's going to be interesting later on in the year when they get on some faster surfaces, perhaps even grass. Becker is going to be right there. He looks like he feels that he can be the 1 or 2 in the world.
Very much so. I think he can definitely take heart from that performance. It was very, very close, and he knows he was 2 or 3 points from a very good victory.
When Becker missed those couple of shots that he missed, like in the tiebreak, particularly at 4-5, the reason that you miss those shots surely is because of the guy that you're playing, right?
Of course, you know that when you're playing Agassi, you have to put it close to the lines to win, and he was obviously trying to do that.
Good effort from Andre Agassi. Thanks for the moment, Chris. Well, if the Agassi-Becker rivalry has been a little bit one-sided in Agassi's favour, then the same cannot be said for the other semi-final played yesterday